And we are about to start. Countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fabulous with Fabio, the talk show that reveals how fabulous people can be so you can be fabulous as well. You're watching this in our YouTube channel, Fabio Marques 007, Fabio Marques 007. Go to talk show and you're going to see Fabulous with Fabio. You can also go to the website, fabulouswithfabio.com, so you can see if you are eligible to be a guest some of these days, all right? And of course, you have a link to all the episodes up there. You also can see this or listen to this interview in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business, in all podcast streamlines you can find. Well, this interview has no cuts, no editing, no post-production. This is raw and authentic as life is. So I only invite guests that I know can handle this thing. All right. So my fabulous guest today is Jim Padilla, and I'm welcoming you, Jim. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, glad to have you, man. So good to see you. Really glad to be able to serve some of the people listening and see what kind of fabulous things we can drum up.
That's right. That's right. So, gentlemen, you're going to see that Jim is a fabulous person, a fabulous entrepreneur, a fabulous human being, and he's going to help you see how he became fabulous, how fabulous is his business, and of course, inspire you so you can become fabulous as well as a person and as a business person. So, Jim, let's start talking about your story. How come you became so fabulous? Tell me with no modesty here. You can tell us your story, the obstacles you have to overcome, the challenges, and who you are today. How is your business today, so we can better understand who we're talking to.
Well, go back to childhood. I'll spare you all of the highlights and the boring stuff. But I grew up. I was born to teenage parents, and so uh, with a teenage mother raising you, and father took off right away. Things were challenging, and my mother responded with some frustration. And I had a rough childhood. I was, in a fairly abusive environment. Ended
Mm.
up, in foster care at 13 and streets and gangs running at 16 and in jail by 19. And it was, that's really what launched me into fabulousness because it chiseled me in ways that a more sheltered life couldn't have. I had to learn how to read the room and bend influence in my direction so that I could always be seen as an ally and never as a threat, because that was how I stayed alive. That was my survival mechanism.
Wow.
And, little did I know that, decades later, I'd be making millions of dollars teaching other people how to read the room, influence people in their direction, and be able to make a difference so that people don't see you as a threat. Because if they see you as a threat, they're never going to buy from you. They're never going to work with you. They're never going to want to be on your team, any of those things. But when they see you as an ally, there's always room in their world for you. And you become fabulous by default.
This is right there, the first key lessons here for you guys watching. Never be perceived as a threat, always be perceived as an ally. And of course, Jim has become a master of doing this, a master of influence. That's why he's here. So, man, that is super valuable right there. Thank you immediately, right, for this golden nuggets right there. So, what else? After learning how to do this, how to, or give me something, how, give me like an example or a method to be perceived as an ally and not as a threat.
Well, the first thing it really requires is the ability. You can't worry about you. You have to know that the outcome is going to serve you. And
Mm,
that is the outcome will serve you if you're consistently focused on being the ally to somebody else. So when you can read the room and see what people need and then position yourself to be able to provide it, then by default, you're an ally. And
mm.
the beauty of that is when you're leaning into being powerfully serviceable for others, valuable, then you never have to worry about you because other people will have your back by default. So what prevents most people from being as valuable as you can is because we hold back because part of our energy is going to preserve us. And if you don't have to preserve you because you can just lean in and really serve powerfully, then the universe has you. God's got you, right? You're serving others, and everything else works out so that it serves you as well.
I, I have a question because I also believe in a life of service, right? Being in service to others, so they don't see you as a threat; they see you as a friend, as an ally. But some people believe that if you position yourself to serve, people take advantage of you, use you to do non-important things. How do you position yourself to be of service without being treated as a as a person of a less important person? How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a point that needs to be pondered. Um, you don't want to see now. It's interesting because the first 20 years of my life, I
Mhm.
destroyed people. I didn't have my heart was closed. You couldn't access it. So I had to do damage to others, I thought, because that was how I stayed alive. And so
Mm,
if it was going to be you or me, it was always going to be me. Then as I got to the next stage of my life, I realized that this anger and violence wasn't going to serve me. So I went all the way the other direction. And I said,
mm,
I'm not going to do damage to anybody. But what happened was I became a bit of a doormat, and people took advantage of me.
mm,
And then it's been this last 10, 15 years where I've really started to find that balance in the middle where you show up with a powerful sense of self
mm,
and knowing that that self comes from the things you've accomplished and the people you've helped. You got credibility. You can look back over your shoulder and say, okay, I've helped these people. I've solved these problems. I've changed the world in this way. I've done these things. So you don't have to fight to prove you're worth something. You stand in the worth that you bring. And that alone has its own magnetic and a compelling, attracting and repelling energy. So it's going to pull people to you who are like, man, I like what this guy's about or what this woman's about. And if they mean you harm, they're going to be repelled from it because they want to take advantage of weaker people. And when you
mm.
show up in the confidence and the certainty that you possess, people don't want part of that. It's so much easier to take advantage of a weak, lacking, confident person. Why would they want to battle you?
I like this concept. This will help a lot of people here because I found my confidence the same way you did. So by serving people, even when they took advantage of me in the beginning, I look back and I saw, well, it doesn't matter if they took advantage of me. I was able to serve with a high level of excellence. And by looking at what everything that I had done to other people, even if they took advantage of me, I did a very good job. So I really served with excellence, and that I used that to build my confidence and to continue to serve, but now preserving myself because they know my value. That's that's beautiful, man. This is super powerful. So everybody watching, even if right now you're serving and you feel like people are taking advantage of you, don't worry. Focus on the service you are providing and the level of excellence you are achieving, and that will build your confidence so you'll be empowered to serve without be taken advantage of in a very short time.
Yeah, that's powerful. And it's so important because you can't, it's interesting because in the world today, we grew up in a different era. And now there's this everybody gets a trophy generation, and let's
Mhm.
build self-esteem in our children. And I love the concept of that. However, you can't build self-esteem in anybody. All of my self-esteem has to come from me. It has to come from what I've achieved, what I've done. You can't tell me how great I am and make me feel great. I have to look at what I've accomplished to recognize that I am great, that I am fabulous. I've stepped into my fabulousness, my badassery, as we call it around here. And because it's irrefutable. You can tell me all day long that I'm not great. And I can say, guess what? I got evidence to the contrary. I know
Yeah.
I'm great.
Evidence. That's the key, right? We build our own evidence, and nothing is more motivational than results. So you have to make a decision. And self-esteem is self. You have to build it, right? You have to make a decision to do things in a great way, to say no to mediocrity, to say yes to excellence. And then you're gonna build results that will build your self-esteem and your confidence. What is that?
My badassery has no limits. That's my sign on my desk. I see it every day.
That's great, man. I love the idea. This is awesome because being fabulous, the definition of fabulous is a story worth telling. right? So it's a story, but it is worth telling. Why? Because you're doing something great with your life. So, and the only way to do something great with our lives is to make a decision. I will not accept mediocrity. I will be excellent or badass in everything I do, so I can build evidence and build my confidence based on that evidence. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Amen. Amen. So, but here's the key for everybody to think about is there's, if you hear terms in the states, in court, you can be guilty by the preponderance of evidence. Right. So there's one piece of evidence or there's 53 pieces of evidence and you're guilty. You're convicted. Right. You want to think about how can you be convicted of being fabulous? Right. So there just has to be preponderance of evidence. If there's only one thing, then you may not have enough evidence to believe you're fabulous. But if
So
you see one thing layered on top of another, and it doesn't just mean you've won. A lot of my confidence and my fabulousness comes from all the things I've done wrong, because all of those things built scar tissue and muscle and growth and wisdom. We fail a lot in our business. And
mhm.
most of our, we've with the things we've won big, even though we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we don't wallow in our mistakes. Every time something goes wrong, we take the feedback and then we apply the wisdom gained and then we build. So it's learning from the mistakes is just as much of evidence of your fabulousness as the things you've done great.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. When I was studying the science of success, one of the key elements of successful people is the capacity to learn with everything that happens to them, right? So we are not perfect. A lot of people make this confusion. Excellence is perfection. No, excellence is exceeding every day. Excel. It comes from getting better and better and better and better. Not perfect, but better every day. And we become better by learning from our mistakes, from others' mistakes, from everything that we did wrong as well. So as long as you keep learning and trying again with this new perspective, you're in the excellence mode, right? And growing and becoming fabulous in the process. Great,
Yeah.
man. Wow. So only what, 15 minutes? We already have so many gold nuggets from Jim. Thank you so much, man. So tell me, um, about, your principles in life, your values. Tell me about your beliefs, values, and principles a little bit, please.
Well, we have some core values. My wife and I are in business together. We have core values in our company, and we really worked hard to determine what those are. How do they lead us? How do they guide us? How do they serve us? Because I don't want, I hate when people have a vision, a mission, or core values. They're on some document somewhere, and
Yeah,
they're in a drawer or they're in the conference room, but they're not in your day-to-day life. And how can you call them your own values if you don't live by them?
yeah.
And so, we have molded them and shaped them, and we actually evaluate them every year to determine, are these still our values? And so we have our handful of core values. Number one core value for us is partnership. That's about relationships, ownership. That's about making sure partnership for us is not 50-50, it's 100-100. Partnership is
Mhm.
people working together to do for people we care about in common. And so some
Beautiful.
days I got to go 100% because you can't do anything because you're just having a bad day or things aren't working. Other times you got to come 20, 50, whatever. It's about getting it done. Matter of fact, I used to I used to ref high school basketball, and there's a pregame meeting that happens between officials, and we meet and we say, okay, what are you working on? What are you working on? And there's always one official who's more competent than the other, and so sometimes one's got to carry the other guy a little bit. Well, I was still very new. I was in my first year, and I met a ref with this guy named Don Jacobs, and he had done college games for 20 years, so he was like way more experienced than me. And we sat down, and he said, what are you working on? What's the thing you do well? So I know I'll cover you with the rest. And I was like, here's what I'm doing. He goes, you focus on that. I'll do the rest. He's like, you do your part and I'll do mine. And we'll just call, because as long as we're good as a team, we win. He was doing 90. I was doing
Mm.
10. But I learned such a powerful lesson that was like 20 years ago. And it's like, you can accomplish a ton if you don't care who gets the credit.
It's beautiful.
And he wanted me to be a partner. He didn't care if he was doing the bigger part of the work. He just needed to know what work he needed to do. Right. So partnership is so valuable and so vital. I don't know how you live in life without it successfully. So that's the first one. And we have partnership, uh, ownership, flexibility, optimism, and results.
Hmm.
And ownership is they're all woven throughout each other, but ownership is imperative. Ownership, the way we define it, is that no matter what happens, you have a say in how it moves from there. So no
Mm,
matter what, it doesn't, even if you broke into my house and stole something from me, my job is to look at how could I have prevented you from breaking into my house in the first place? How
mm,
could I have positioned things so that it wasn't so easy to take the things that were less valuable? What I have to self-assess and
mm,
go, okay, what could I have done to make this better, easier, more preventable? Right? That's ownership. It's not saying it was my fault. That's not ownership. It's what could I have done to make this better or make this have a different outcome? Ownership says, I got it no matter what happens.
mm.
And then the beautiful part of that is if you're in control of the outcome, then even if it's a bad outcome, you get to change so the outcome can be better. But if it's
Yes.
somebody else's fault, you don't get to change anything.
Yeah, it's about taking responsibility in a productive way. I like
Totally.
that.
Totally. So ownership, flexibility and optimism kind of go together. Those are key. But flexibility says I can roll with anything. That means
Mhm.
I don't live life in hard cement. I live life in wet cement, meaning it's always moldable. No matter what happens, even if it wasn't what I planned on happening, I can move through it. Right.
Yeah.
So you've got to be flexible because life is life, man. The world is crazy. I don't know anybody who gets to go as their whole life go exactly as planned. I haven't
Yeah.
met that person. It is not me for sure.
Me neither.
But what goes hand in hand with that is optimism.
Yeah, yeah.
I have kind of a delusional sense of reality. Hey man, everything is for my benefit. So I look at everything as the world is here to serve me. And I don't mean like at my knee on their knees serving me at my altar. It means serving me to the next level. I'm always everything. The universe conspires on your behalf is a phrase that is often thrown around. But hey, I am highly blessed and favored by God. And things happen to me that don't happen to other people because I believe they're going to happen. I'm prepared for them to happen. I see it. I use a definition in one of our recruiting videos. If you're going to be a salesperson with us, you have to understand flexibility and optimism. And I say, here's a crazy definition of optimism. If you look out there and your dog just pooped on your rug, the first thought you should have is, great, I've been wanting a new rug, right? It should never be, oh, that damn dog, right? It should be awesome. I got a great opportunity to buy a new rug now, right? So you just have to look at everything as a great opportunity moment, right?
Mm,
It'll change your whole perspective. I promise you that will change your entire life if you start moving that way.
of course.
And then results is a big one because I've never been in an environment in my life where the ability to deliver the results doesn't matter. It always matters, no matter where you are. That result can be anything from putting out the trash for your neighbor to helping somebody out to giving a word of encouragement to delivering great sales results, recruiting
Mm,
great team. Everything requires some kind of result. And the better result you can give, the more value you bring to the world.
yeah,
Period.
it's beautiful. And I believe that the world may even recognize effort, but life rewards results, right?
Amen.
So yeah, you're right, man. A lot of people hide behind their effort, behind their intentions, as that was enough, and they don't deliver results, and they demand things from the world. No, you have to deliver results, even if it's, as you said, helping somebody out, making a difference, right? It's not only numbers, but it's delivering some kind of results that has some value to somebody. So
Right.
we need to deliver results in everything we do. This is
I'm going to tweak that word for you too, because I actually had a conversation about this recently. It shifted my whole paradigm. Everybody talks about value, be of value, deliver value, bring value to the marketplace. And yes, but the problem with value is that it's determined by the giver. So if I'm delivering you value, I'm like, oh, hey, I wrote this book and it's incredible. It's my life's work and I'm giving it to you. So to me, it has a lot of value. It may not have a lot of value to you.
yeah,
However, if I do something that is valuable to you because it made an impact on you and you've received it and determined it was valuable,
yeah.
now value has been set. And people market stuff all the time. I get stuff in my inbox every day, like everyone else, and there's all kinds of stuff. Oh, I got this 12-step training. I got this, I got that. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have time to consume your crap, man. I'm busy. I'm doing my own life over here. And But this one guy sent me a video, and it was a 6-minute video, and he broke down my YouTube channel. And he said, I'm going to show you, I love what you're doing with YouTube channel, but you have opportunities to do it better. And I'm going to point out a few things that would be really easy fixes for you. And I broke them down, really good actionable content, very
Mhm.
specific and personal to my site.
Yeah.
And then he took the last 60 seconds to say, hey, my name is so and so, and here's what I do. And if you're interested, let me know, and I'd love to do work with you. I responded with him. First of all, most people don't even respond to. I responded and I said, this was fantastic content. We will implement these things. And at some point in the future, I will absolutely work with you. I'm just not ready for that right now because he was valuable to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I've even referred him people because some people, hey, what about YouTube? I'm like, dude, you need to hire this guy. And that's being valuable. But that required in order for you to be valuable to somebody, it requires sacrifice and effort on your part.
Yeah. And you need to trust that your actions will be rewarded somehow if you really are serving, right? I did an experiment one time. I was in an event in São Paulo, a big event, like 400 people. I invited them for free, no, right? And then there, when they arrived, I gave them, each one of them, a copy of my first book, I believe. Yeah, was the book about service excellence. I gave them the book. I said, listen, you can stay with my book the entire event, what, 3 hours event. You can stay with my book. You can have a look at it. And by the end, if you feel like it has some value to you, when you're leaving, you just deposit check or money here by the amount you think it is valuable, right? If it
Right.
$1, $2, $20, whatever, you define the value of my book to you by the end of the event. And if you believe the event also added some value to you, you can put some more money if you want to. No obligation whatsoever. So I gave the event, it was crazy. By the end, people were leaving, and then I calculated the average, right? The average.
Yeah.
The average was like $75 per book.
There you go.
And the price of the book in the bookstore was like $17, 17, right? But they paid the average of $75 for the book in the event because I trusted them. I gave my very best, and I trusted they would see some value on it. So
The way that I would describe that is you gave them value, they determined if it was valuable.
yeah, that's
Because
great.
value is what you give, and you're the
Yeah,
one who sets the price on it. That's why $17 or $30 for 50 for a ticket to the event. They said this was valuable to me, so I'm paying for it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's good.
That was one evidence of what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Great, great. Okay, tell me what your company does right now. What is the main service that you provide to people or to companies?
Well, what we've known for, what we've been doing for the last decade is people come to us when they're looking for sales teams, and they primarily are looking for outsourced fractional sales support. What has
Mm,
happened over the last decade as we've done this and generated hundreds of millions of dollars for our clients is we've recognized that as people are coming for sales teams, almost none of them are actually ready for a sales team. Their offers are not clean. Their pricing structure is not right. They don't have a good quality, prospect or offer journey. They don't have all the right systems or follow-up processes. They just have leads and they want sales. And that's a great way to lose salespeople. And so we started fixing all this stuff over the years. And then in the last couple of years, we decided, you know what? We want to start focusing on that and being the main focus. So people come to us and we're like, okay, yes, we can talk about sales teams, sales events. We do a lot of events for our clients, strategy and sales in the room and all of that. But we're now building systems, strategies, and processes that can scale companies so that they
mm,
can have a business that they could sell for profit or keep for pleasure. Because what's the best company to run? It's one that's ready to sell because
yeah,
it's profitable, it's easy, it's team led, it's system driven, all of those things. I don't care if you ever sell it, but I want you to have a business that can be sold. So that's
great.
where we focus. People come to us. We consult on the front end and get them from profitable to viable to viable.
Perfect, perfect. And that's really very deep work, right? Because you have to gain their trust, so they review everything to you. You have to have a very thorough reading of the company, the situation, and then you have to suggest all the changes they need to implement, right? And I guess you help them implement all the changes they need, and they build, or maybe they have to rebuild their companies, right? Sometimes. So they finally reach a stage where, okay, now everything is working, everything is flowing, and now they can scale their sales and their profits, right?
Yeah. A lot of people just want to go straight to the scaling part. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. You got to get leverage in play, right? You have to start putting the systems in place that will allow you to deliver more with less effort, getting the right, more outcomes with the same level of effort. Then you can deploy your leverage systems to start scaling and get more product and more outcomes and more results. But it takes a lot, because what we've actually found is you have to scale the human before you can scale the company. And typically, that human is either the founder, the CEOs, your exec team, whoever it is. There's growth and work for them to do, because we, as the leaders, are always going to be the ceiling for the success of our company.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so you always have to bring in that inner component of helping this person become something more, who can actually handle that success. Then that success will grow through them.
Yeah, there's no way to have a excellent company with with mediocre people, right? We
Doesn't
need
work.
to grow as human beings so we can grow as organizations.
For sure.
That that makes a lot of sense. Share with us your vision for the future. Not only the future of your company, but the future of the marketplace. Let's say everybody could work with you. Hypothetically, let's say every organization could work with you and can use your skill to organize and structure and leverage everything. And what would be the marketplace like if that was possible?
Ideally, and my mission on this is that we live in a world right now that is being controlled by forces that um, that are not ideal for us, and it's because we're allowing it. There's far too many people who are acquiescing to what the government wants, to what Wall Street demands, to what put the pressures on, and everybody thinks that that's what it's supposed to be, because they don't believe they have a say. Well, if you have a powerful, robust business that is profitable, valuable, independent, doesn't require government sustenance, doesn't have to worry about what's happening on Wall Street, because you're making your own economy, you're driving force and impact and revenue and profit. Guess who influences the market now? Right? It's you, because you are creating your own economy and you're living in a business at choice. Regardless of what happens in Washington or in the state capitol, you run your business the way you want it to, because it's serving people powerfully. I got grandkids now. We have 5 grandkids, 5 and under. And I have a different perspective. I used to be interested in you having a profitable business. Now I demand it. If you must run a profitable business, you must maximize your potential, including your earning potential, because that's what's going to allow you to do what God called you to do at your very best. And when we're all, as entrepreneurs who are independent, free, powerful, profitable, and connected and working together and serving each other, this world will be the place that my grandkids can grow up in and their grandkids can grow up in. That's my vision for the future of the marketplace.
Yeah. That's why I feel so connected with you, man, because I have this similar vision and I call it International Excellence Society. I believed,
Ah,
we could build this International Excellence Society. Everybody thinking about being excellent in what they do, reaching fabulous, right? And having fabulous lives so we can leave a better world to our children and grandkids. And
totally.
it's
I see a world of opportunity makers. Opportunity maker is a term that has mattered, that has always been in my head, because I've always been able to turn any environment into something quality. And
mm,
I see you, the business owner, I see you, the impact maker, the one to change the world. You're an opportunity maker. And that means you're creating opportunities for yourself and the people around you. It's not just about you building a life that you can live. It's about you building a life that is allowed, that spills from the overflow, pouring into other people, and you're creating opportunities everywhere you go. And it just becomes this opportunity making society where everybody's nonstop creating more solution, more opportunity, more problems to solve, more growth opportunities for everybody. And we all win.
it's perfect. I want now, if you will, please share with us. Uh, you already told us that there was a moment in your life where you decided to be different, right? You were angry, you were doing people harm, and then you decided to change, right? Uh, share with us your inner dialogue, right? What happened inside your head at that time? What kind of conversations you were having inside your head that helped you change from that angry young man to a more productive and generous and kind human being?
Really, a lot of it was about I was the kid who did damage everywhere I went, but there was always a piece of me on the inside that knew it wasn't right.
Mm,
I just didn't know what else to do. And so I always knew it was wrong. I knew anytime I stole, lied, hurt somebody, beat whatever, I always carried a piece of guilt. And what the real byproduct of that was, well, I was a lonely young man. And out of that came fear and anger and rage. And that's what made me more violent. And I had to fight my way through life. And you start realizing the older you get that when you hit somebody, you get into a fight, you can go to prison for that stuff. And if you hurt people because you steal from them, well, you can go to prison for that stuff too. Not only that, you can go to hell. I mean, this is how I was processing. It's like, okay, something's got to change because what I'm doing isn't working. I'm a young kid, in my 20s. I've been in jail. I've been bankrupt. I've been divorced. Like, I clearly don't know how to do this.
mm,
So I had to change something about me. And so it was recognizing this. I didn't know what needed to change. I just knew that there needed to be a change. So that's why I went so far the other direction and became kind of a doormat for a while because I was like, well, I'm hurting everybody. How about I don't hurt anybody? And I just serve everybody. And that's when you start getting taken advantage of and all those things. But I started learning about myself. I started learning how much I can actually give to people and how much I can help people by doing so. And then it was, really the big change was when I met my wife because I was nothing. I literally just came through a divorce. I was bankrupt. I was broke. I had nothing, not one thing. I lived in a furnished apartment because I didn't own any furniture. I left everything. I lost it all in the divorce. And my wife was six-figure career, doing well. And she literally, I had nothing to offer. And so she chose me when I had nothing. So she was literally the first person that ever showed me that I had value. It wasn't because of my stuff or who I
mm,
was. She chose because I didn't have anything. So the only thing left was me. So she showed me that I was actually lovable. And I think it's the first person in my life that it demonstrated clearly to me that I could be loved. And that I think, if you'll go back to that first 25 years of my life, it was largely not feeling love is what drove all this fear and anger.
mhm.
And then once you have it, you realize that you don't have to fight for the love, you just love. And then through love, you learn to fight for others. And that's been the second half of my life. First half was fighting everybody. Second half of my life has been fighting for everybody.
That's beautiful. And, it's recognizing first you recognized your life was not working and you had you were humble enough to recognize that. You took responsibility. And when you didn't have anything to offer, one person showed you that you were good enough. You didn't need your stuff. You didn't need money or status or anything. You were loved by who you were, right? And uh, even if we don't have the same luck as you did, right? You were lucky to find someone. Of course, you were already open to receive that, but you were lucky to find someone who saw you and saw your value, uh, as you, right? Independently of anything else. I would say to my audience, if there is somebody out there that is alone, right, and doesn't have anything, and it's also in a very difficult situation as you were, and even if there's nobody else looking at you and showing you how much you can be loved and valued, um, learn this from Jim. We are not our stuff. We are not our money. We are not our status. We are human beings and we have value as long as we are willing to serve and help. And, we are open to receive love. So thank you for
Totally.
this, Jim. This is beautiful.
The thing that I would encourage you to find is you are absolutely valuable to the right place. We'll call it the right market. Too many times we're trying to be valuable, trying to create some kind of value in a fake. So when you're trying to create it, it's not really you versus being valuable to the people who need you. And those people will desire you, right? Whether it's a marketplace, whether it's an organization, a person, a partner, just stop trying to make it be something and just show up with what you feel called to serve and serve. And it doesn't have to be glamorous or
Mhm.
high caliber. It just needs to be real.
Yeah, real. And no, another thing that would add to that is that some people keep waiting for the right opportunity to be excellent, the right opportunity to do your best. But excellence is a habit, it's not a destination. So you gotta be excellent every day in every opportunity. Do your very best, serve at your very best in every opportunity because this is a practice. You're developing this habit of being excellent. So you're adding more and more value and being more and more valuable to other people because you're practicing this every day. And as you do this, you are creating those evidences we talked about, right? So you can look back and say, wow, I have value because I'm a valuable to other people.
Yeah.
And great, great. And then we create self-esteem and confidence and everything follows. Great, man. All right. So we have talked about your inner dialogue and how you used your self-awareness to recognize where you were and of course the impact of your wife in your life helping you make this transition from the angry young man to this self-confidence and mature self-confidence mature grown up that is helping so many people. What is the if you were in a room with, let's say, 10,000 people, it's more like an arena, right? 10,000 people, you are there on stage, and you have like 10 seconds to say something that would put all those 10,000 people in the right state of mind to move on with their lives. What would be your opening statement that would take 10 seconds to say that would make a difference to those 10,000 people? I know it's challenging. Just testing.
It's not about you, but it can't be done without you.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's not about you,
It's
but
not
it can't
about
be
you,
done without you.
but you're vital to the solution.
Perfect, perfect. That would put 10,000 people thinking and reflecting on that, and ready to listen to the rest of your presentation for sure. Great, I like it. Jim, please tell us, if you can, two or three key lessons you have learned throughout your life that really helped you become the person and the entrepreneur you are today.
The first one for me is that I learned because of my upbringing that everything is overcomable. Unless it literally kills you, you have capability to build back. If there is nothing that can keep you down except you. It's it. So know that
Love
everything's overcomable. A term we started using around here is everything's figure outable. There's no such thing as a problem that can't be solved. The problem, okay, the other part of that is that I would say, well, number two is that everything can be done if you don't care who gets the credit. You can accomplish anything. Too
Wow.
many times people go, well, how can I do this? You don't have to be the one to do this. You just have to be the one that can create the opportunity for it to be done. So I say yes to a lot of things because I know I could call somebody like you. I could call some of my other colleagues and my friends, people, because they can solve it. So that means I was instrumental in solving it. Again, it's not about me, but it couldn't be done without me because I needed to bring you into the solution.
Perfect, perfect.
Right. And then I can get something accomplished because I don't care who gets the credit. You get the credit. I was just part of the process.
Beautiful.
Right. And then from a business perspective, I mean, this is life value too, but what you do matters and you deserve to be paid well for it. So you can do good. Here's a perspective on that. We all think of people always think of Gandhi or Mother Teresa. Say, well, they didn't make money. They didn't make money. But do you have any idea how many billions of dollars flowed through Mother Teresa because of all of the causes she was a part of, all of the lives that she touched, all of the foundations that fed things through her. Same thing with Gandhi, same thing with every quality human being leader on the planet. Maybe they didn't pocket a lot of it, but they were responsible because of what they did mattered. And they were ensuring currency was moving through them to solve problems. Without money, there are very few things that are ever going to get done worthwhile in this world. You have to make sure you can be a quality conduit for it.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. I love it. So, uh, you have shared so many good things with us so far, and these key lessons were great. Now, let's try to help our audience to take some steps, right? So, what are the key action steps they could take today to move forward with their lives, to get closer to their dreams, even if they don't involve getting in contact with you? Let's say things they can start doing today that would make a difference and in their lives.
There's a lot of places that you can go with that. I would say get crystal clear. First of all, be clear that you have to build your own vision. You can't have a vision of somebody else's life. It's got to be about what you want. So get clear on what you want
Mhm.
because you wouldn't have those desires if God didn't put them in you. And so God's going to help you achieve them if you start moving on that. He may not help you achieve somebody else's goal, but he'll
Mhm.
certainly help you achieve yours because he's the one who gave them to you. Right. So get clear on what you want and then get crystal clear on who you are in the moment and who you need to become in order to achieve that goal. And then just make a list of them. And then you just start out on a journey of overcoming those challenges one at a time. Who's the person that I need to become? And then here's the other part. It's not about what you can do better. What's the vision? Who's the person that I need to become to make it happen? Who are the other people that can help me do it? You can solve damn near any problem in the world if you put all that together.
Perfect, perfect. Jim, I want to say that the way you have been explaining your wisdom to us is amazingly clear, super easy to follow. So I would say your interview is one of the best we have had because you're so clear in everything, is so well structured in your head that really makes it easier for us to follow your line of thought, and it's inspiring. I'm super happy you are here with us today. I'm
Make it.
super grateful for having this opportunity to talk to you today because I know you are being super valuable to my audience, and you're probably right now helping a lot of people, and you will help because this interview will be forever in my channel for sure, and we will help a lot of people just by listening to you and to your wisdom. I want to thank you, man, and I want to and for you guys watching, of course I'm going to put underneath the video all the ways you can get in contact with Jim and with his company. I'm gonna share with them your profile on LinkedIn, okay, Jim,
Yep.
and your website. You can what is the best way for people to contact you if they want to do it today or tomorrow?
Well, if you go to jimp360.com, that's my personal website. And from there, you can contact me on, through text, through email, social media, LinkedIn. You can pick your way to connect with me. But please do let me know that you heard me on the podcast here. And I would love to know how any of this is resonating with you and any breakthroughs that you're having in your life, because so many times we help people and we have no idea. And it's so cool to be able to hear the great things that people do as a result of what we get to do with them and for them.
Yeah, I think the same way. The best reward we can get, right, is getting a message from someone we helped, right?
Yeah.
The feeling is priceless, is amazing. And I remember when when my daughter was 7, I was going to for another trip, right? And she said, "Oh, Daddy, why do you have to go?" Right? And I remember sharing with her like 3 or 5 emails that I got from other people where they were saying how much I helped them. And she was surprisingly quiet for like 15 minutes. I was reading the emails. She was just looking at me. She was 7. And by the end, she said, "Okay, Dad, you can go because you're helping people." So that was amazing feeling for me. I felt like, so relieved, right?
That's
And
great.
she was supporting me. So it was beautiful. And
That's her being bought into your vision because she realizes, hey, there's you're changing lives. You're changing the world. That's fantastic.
Jim, I want to thank you so much once again. And if you want to say, your final statement, just to be resonating with everybody listening, what would be your final statement for people to really keep going, moving on with their lives and becoming fabulous?
I will piggyback on what you were just sharing, the story about your daughter, because when people bring me in to do sales training for their companies, organizations, I rarely come in with tactics. Every salesperson knows tactics. They all work. What I do is we come in with motivation and inspiration. And this is not rah-rah. It's one of the first things we do is we take a collection of all your testimonials, all your customer service reviews, and we have the team read them because they go, oh my God, look, we're changing lives. We just helped this person. We just helped that company. This teammate, Fabio just did something great. And this customer service report was fantastic. Guess what, guys? What you do matters. Because so many times, salespeople and people in general, we get in a rut. We forget why we're doing what we're doing, and we get way too focused on what we're doing.
Mm,
So do that for yourself. Print out every person that you've helped. Go look on Facebook, look at all the comments, all the thumbs up, all that stuff. Because guess what? They matter. And read those all to yourself and remind yourself every day. Again, evidence of you being fabulous.
perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jim Padilla, our fabulous guest today. You're going to see this interview here in my YouTube channel, Fabio Marques 007. You can go to fabulouswithfabio.com as well. So you can even check if you are eligible to be one of my guests in the future. Who knows, right? If you're willing to inspire people to be fabulous, maybe you qualify to be one of my special guests. So go to fabulouswithfabio.com. And of course, you can also listen to this interview in the Powerful Insights for Business, my podcast about business ideas. So once again, thank you. My gratitude to you, Jim. You really enlightened our world today. I wish you all the best. You deserve it. And I'm sure you and I will bring so many great solutions to the world together, because I believe in partnership as you believe in partnership. We have to be 100%. And you're fabulous. I'm super happy that you were with us today.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. Always appreciate the opportunity to serve and be part of your success team.